Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome to the summer transfer special for Leeds United for Season 5 into Season 6. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do in this one. I think we have a really good team, the basis of a really good team. It's just a little bit of stardust, I think, that we need to try and add here. Some world-class players. I thought we'd start having a look at sort of the team of, or the 11 of our time, the best 11 of their time at the club. It's Onana in goal, it's Coyle and Douglas as the fullbacks, which I think is maybe still just about fair enough, though I think left back is going to have to come down to Zagreb, maybe Brad Darrick soon. Bonifazi and Souter are still the two centre-backs. Again, I think Pongranic and Wood are going to be challenging, well, certainly Bonifazi, if not Souter as well. Phillips, Mariba and Bogac in midfield, I think that's just about fair enough. Bowen and Vavake as the wingers, I think is fair enough. And Liao up top, I think definitely over the course of the entire 5 seasons, he still has the nod just ahead of Haaland. If we go and have a look actually at the 11, sort of see this way how many games and goals players we've got. The bench is Casilla, Pongranic, Wood, McCalmont, Alina, Shackleton and Haaland. I think Shackleton's spot is going to come under pressure. He was really good for us that first season or two before Arsenal came in and snapped him up. But otherwise, I mean, really, a lot of these players are still at the club. The only ones really that have left, I mean, we've sold Bonifazi on. He went to Monaco, and he had how did he do last year? 14 games, 2 goals. He wasn't even a regular for them, and they paid 28 million. So that's maybe a little bit of a surprise. Douglas, I think, where'd he move on to? He's currently a free agent. Has he got staff attributes? What do you like as a coach? No, he's a horrible coach, so never mind that. Where did he go last season? He's been a year at Coventry and really didn't play in League One, so I think we picked him off at the right time. Everybody else here is still at the club. Casilla, we know, has retired. He's an unemployed manager, and he's not a very good one at that, so I think he might get used to the unemployment line. And the only other one that's not at the club right now is Jamie Shackleton. He, as we know, went off to Arsenal. They've absolutely just ravaged his career. He is apparently a right back now. Now, we do need a right back. I wonder if we have a sneaky look at getting Shackleton back. He's got decent physicals. The thing is, I don't think he's that much of an upgrade on Coyle, but he's certainly not a downgrade on Coyle. Let's look into this a little bit here. Where's Louis Coyle? So Coyle's in the blue, Shackleton's in the green. So no, not really, is it? No, he's not as good. Anyway, he's worse. He's just slightly better vision and attacking, but you'd expect that as a natural midfielder. But yeah, so there we go. That's the best 11. We'll play through here. We'll update you on things like the Champions League, any Premier League awards that have got yet to come out. But we'll be back when there's something to report. Hopefully, some signings. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some players picked off as well. We've got a lot of players wanted here. So it might be a summer of trying to keep who we want to keep as well. And you will have a quick look at the contract situation as well. The only player's contract's expiring is Francis Winter here. And I think we have actually offered him a new contract to keep him at the club as a youngster to see if we can develop him into something we can sort of sell on in the future. But really, we're going to keep who we want to keep. The other thing actually we should update you on, this is the longest intro ever, isn't it, is have a look at who's coming through the academies here. If we go to the under-23s, click it up to potential. We, of course, have Asane Nadeo, who we knew came through one of the recent youth intakes. He might be ready for first-team football on that right wing between him and Baker. He's potentially a 5-star player. Luis is going to come back for next season. He, of course, was out on loan at Alvarez, was it? Yeah, at Alvarez. He's a good defensive midfielder, so we might find ourselves maybe with too many midfielders. He's been playing a lot in La Liga as well, which is good. Maybe do we cash in on someone like, what's his face, Calvin Phillips? I don't think we do. We've got Abino Lika, who came through in our last youth intake. He's quite decent as well. So there's a lot, and Tajo Ahmed as well, another good young centre-back coming through. We do have, of course, we've also got Charles O'Brien coming through as a centre-back, and of course Max Dean as well. So we're very well served in centre-backs. I don't think we need to strengthen, because if we have a look at the actual centre-backs, as this intro just keeps going on and on and on. I'll show you the under-18s as well, just quickly. So there's some high potential under-18s, though I think, to be fair, they're the same guys that were in the under-21s. If we do just look at centre-backs, if we go by position, I do think we're quite well served, because we have Nathan Wood, as we know, is already a star, and John Souter, who's been a really, really good player for us as well. Max Dean is essentially a world-class centre-back. He's just got to develop into that. And we've also got, as we know, Pongranic. So we've got 4 top-line centre-backs, a few youngsters coming through as well with Gore, that guy, and Charles O'Brien, as I just said, and a couple of other youngsters. I almost wonder if Marley Phoenix is sellable at this point. He's 21 already. He might be a sellable asset. But anyway, we'll be back when there's something to report. Okay, there's a few club records here to announce. First of all, Erling Haaland's 21 goals beats Rafael Leao's record of 19 from 2020. So that's 4 seasons ago now. So that record stood for a while. If we look at Leeds records, it's not it says it's an all-time record. I'm highly skeptical that the most goals ever scored by a Leeds United player in a season is 21. Correct me if I'm wrong there, guys, but I don't think somehow that's going to be true. A couple of other records here just to point out, if I can find them here. Jared Bowen's 15 assists last season. Again, it says it's a club record, as is most clean sheets by Onana. Well done to him. And most player of the match awards by Erling Haaland. Again, I doubt, maybe the clean sheets, 26 clean sheets in a season is decent, but I highly doubt the rest of those are all-time records, but you never know, I could be wrong. So there we go, we're setting some new high water marks there, just thought I'd fill you in on those. Okay, commercial update time, and a good opportunity as well to probably check you up on the finances, but new sponsorship deals, 5.5 million, 7 new deals. We've got a continental competition sponsored, an extra 300 grand a season on that. Sponsorship was up, 4.5, just over 4.6 million for this season, which is good. Hospitality was up, 4 million or so, which is excellent. Matchday revenue was up just shy of $1 million, which is nice. Broadcast revenues up quite a bit. 13 million, unlucky for some. Competition prize money was down quite a bit, actually, just on 10 million. Now, we were in the Champions League last season, of course, and we got out of the group stage, so that probably explains the difference there, even though we did do better in the Premier League. The merchandise, we sold 4.78 million, with just under 2 million of that being non-domestic sales. The club shirts, just over half a million. The most popular names, always my favourite part. Calvin Phillips, I don't think that shocks anybody, does it? Leao, Haaland, Under, surprises me, being sort of 4th favourite there in Velvake. So there we go. We've got a new scouting budget as well. Apparently we ran out of money last season, so we'll we'll go up and we'll scout, and I'll just make sure we have an appropriate budget to make sure we don't run out of that. If we do have a look at finances, we will see that everything is fine and dandy. 180 million more or less in the bank, just on 100 million to spend in transfers. We have just on 1.8 million on wages, so that's an increase of about 300 grand a week. So that's nice. I do wonder if we're just a little bit short of being able to sign top world-class talent right now, but it's not too bad. And the other thing to update you on as well, actually, is that the stadium increase has been sort of approved officially. If we go down here, there it is there. So it's 46 million more or less. We're going to go up to 60,000 seat capacity. It's going to start more or less straight away, and it will be done by the new year. So halfway through this coming season, we'll have a 60,000 seat Ellen Road, which is something to look forward to. All right, on to some transfers, hopefully. Okay, quick update on the Champions League. Atletico Madrid beat Manchester United in the final on penalties after a 1-1 draw. You can see both teams there. But it will be Atletico Madrid who we are facing in the UEFA Super Cup next season. But the fact that Manchester United got to the final gives me a little bit of hope that I think we'll be able to compete next year when we are in the Champions League. Well, we'll get an idea when we play Atletico Madrid as well. But yeah, I think Manchester United weren't the strongest team in the league. If we go back and look at the semi-finals, Man United beat Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid beat Paris Saint-Germain. If you're wondering what happened to Liverpool, they went out in the quarterfinals, knocked out by Manchester United. So perhaps a bit of a weird result, that one. But yeah, it'll be Atletico Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup. Congratulations on them. I'm assuming that's the first Champions League title for them as well. Okay, quick update on a few things here. First of all, the new European club rankings have been announced. We've moved up 13 places to 23rd, which is good. We got 27 coefficient points last season. So one thing Europa League has been good at, going on and winning it 2 seasons out of 3 there, is really boosting up those coefficient points. So hopefully we won't be in the bottom group of seeds. Hopefully we might even sneak into the second seeds. That might be a little bit too deep. That might be a little bit too ambitious, but not all these English teams ahead of us are going to be in the Champions League. So I'm hoping we might sneak into the second pot, which will be obviously help our draw. Although as winners of the Europa League, we might even be top seeds again. So that would be good, ideally. Now, a couple of other things to catch you up on here. Some new contracts that have been signed. What we've been doing is with the contracts that are expiring this time next year, I've gone through and looked to renew some of those. So if we go down, the first one was Alina. He's 26. We're going to be paying him 80 grand a week for the next 4 seasons as a regular starter. I really like him. I think he's a very useful player for us. 80 grand a week, it's not ideal, but the money we would have to spend to get somebody in of this quality and maybe pay a little bit less, we're better off just saving it. And if we get a massive bid, he's worth 53 million, then we can always sell him on. So that's Alina here for the next 4 years. The backup goalkeeper, Williams Hasky, he's signed a new 5-year deal, very much as a backup goalkeeper. 3.5 grand a week. He's very good for what he does. Sit on the bench, and we'll play him in some cup games and hopefully keep this progression going in the right way for us. Other players that have signed a new deal. If we go up here, Jared Bowen, 55 grand a week for the next 4 years for him as a squad player, which is almost perfect, to be honest. We're not really overpaying him. He's useful, and when he stops becoming useful, being English, I don't really see a problem in selling him on to sort of a mid-table Premier League team. But for right now, he's getting the job done for us. 15 assists last year as well, so I'm happy to have him staying. Liao has signed a new deal, a 4-year deal, 62 grand a week as a squad player. Liao has just always got the job done for us, so I don't see a reason to give him on. He's happy to stay as a squad player. Perfect. That's exactly the role we're going to look him to use him in. But right now, to be honest, he's a second choice striker. The goals number here don't necessarily tell a story because he does get some goals for us in Europe as well. So, like I say, he's 1 in 2, isn't he? More or less. Maybe not last season, but recently he's 1 in 2, if not better than that. So, that's good for 62 grand a week. Johnny Souter, 43 grand a week. He's going to be here for the next 4 years again as a squad player. They'll take him to 31. He's just reliable. He gets the job done for us, so I'm happy to have him staying. We can see there again, he's a squad player these days, but very, very happy. And again, he's another one of these. He's worth 27.5 million. If we get a bid come in that's worth selling him on for, we can do that. But to be honest, I really, really like him, so I don't necessarily see myself doing that. And the other one, was there another one that signed on? I think there may have been. No, maybe not. We did have a bid, if you've seen in the news there, for this Ocon Oblak guy. He would have been useful. We had a bid accepted. We just kind of broke down on wages a little bit. He just wanted a little bit too much for someone that was probably going to be sort of a third, fourth, even fifth choice striker. If we look at Abel Ruiz as a potential striker, he was kind of going to battle it out with Edmondson. The problem I have with him, he's really, really pacey. He's got no jumping reach. He's not the best header of the ball, so I just think he's a little bit too limited. I think he wanted to be sort of a squad player to a regular starter. We wanted sort of pushing up towards 50 grand a week if we played him 30 times. I just think that was a little bit too much. So that's the update of where we're at. We're still looking at signings. We're June 17th, so contracts haven't expired yet. Once that happens, I think we'll start and see some movement. Sometimes it just feels good to sit back, relax, and just get away from it all. For a minute anyway. Hello? Nuno Espirito Santo, what are you laughing at, mate? You just got relegated with Bournemouth. Mate, we beat you 5-0 last season. What are you laughing at? You did what? Okay, quick update. We have a new enemy of football, and that is Bournemouth, who have stolen one of our youngsters, Albino Lika, who was the Macedonian attacking midfielder, deep line playmaker type. I don't really understand why he's done this, because I was offering him a full-time contract. He wanted to double what he's ended up accepting for here at Bournemouth. He rejected what I was offering him, which was still more than this, and he's been pinched, which has really, really annoyed me, I'll be honest. But there we go. He's gone off to Bournemouth. Now, we have had the new, the new seasons are starting. I thought I'd just quickly update you on how the Championship went last season. I don't necessarily want to go all the way down through the leagues. But joining us in the Premier League will be Derby, Fulham and Bristol City. Came up through the playoffs ahead of, you can see there, Sheffield United, my boys Aston Villa, and they don't deserve to go up after knocking out the FA Cup last season. And you can see there, and the teams that went down, Blackpool, who surprisingly perhaps were in the Championship to start with, Hull and Preston have gone down as well. So that's just a quick update, but yeah, mark it down in your books. Bournemouth, new enemy of Leeds United. We have breaking transfer news this evening out of Ellen Road involving Leeds United and Everton. We cross live now to Hugh Ticklebottom. And Hugh, this is a big one. Yes, that's correct, Jeff. Leeds United have smashed their transfer record fee for Everton fullback Jamie Mahoney. Now, the initial fee is an eye-watering £60 million, potentially rising up to £91 million with add-ons. Now, the Leeds United fans are not sure about this one, Jeff. There's certainly going to be a lot of pressure on Aussie Villain to get the most out of his new man. Well, here we go. I said I wanted a right back, an upgraded right back. I think we've got it, but I tell you what, this hasn't gone down as well as I was hoping. A C+ signing only, according to the fans. They think they believe this Thiago transfer is a better deal by comparison. Thiago, if you're wondering, is a 33-year-old Spanish midfielder with absolutely no pace about him. And Wolverhampton, they got him on a free transfer. So yes, if you're looking at it financially, a free transfer is maybe a better deal. But what this guy's going to offer us, I think I'm really, really happy with it, despite having to pay over the odds to prize him out of Everton. So 60 million up front, potentially 91. We'll have to pay us some of that in games played, up to, 17, 18 million for sure. And if we were to win the Premier League, win the Champions League, we'll add on some bonuses there. He's on 52 grand a week, so it's good money, I think, for us, relatively speaking. A regular starter is the deal. Let's have a look at him. I did point him out last season when I found him. Or to give the scouts credit when the scouts found him. But I think he's a star. Already an England international at 19. Really good pace. He's not the worst in the air, which for a fullback is good. He's got all the potential in the world. He's a wonder kid. He can play off either foot. He can play left or right back. In theory, equally well, but given that he can play either foot. He can tackle well, which I like. We will be looking to use him predominantly on the right side. And as I said, there's no reason why he can't become natural on the right side either. What he will also be is a good backup or a good sort of third choice option on the left if we need that. So there we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. The reason I went so big is because I didn't really see anywhere else in the squad that really needed to be filled in. He did play last season for Everton in the Premier League as a regular. Did fine, 6.98 in a team that was, sort of average at best. I don't think Everton sort of ever really hit any great heights, did they, last season? Let's go and have a look and check here. But I think that's a really good signing. Everton were mid-table, so averaging 6.8 as a defender in a mid-table team. I think that's fine. So I'm really happy with it. I think he'll do a really good job for us. If we look at the finances, it has made a hole. We still got 30 million to spend. The wage budget we're more or less there now. They must have lowered that on me, have they? Oh no, because we had to sign all the new contracts, didn't we? All the new players. So to keep existing players. So that's kind of where we're at. I think this will probably mean the end for Louis Coyle. If we go and have a look at what we could get back for Louis Coyle here, because I do like, where am I here? Let me scroll up a bit here. I do like Wan-Bissaka as he can also is a good defender, but I think he is maybe a little bit better than Louis Coyle. He's also 2 years younger, which we can't really overlook. If we look at Louis Coyle in the blue, Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the green, arguably Louis Coyle's a little bit better as attacking fullback, which surprises me a little bit. But defensively, Wan-Bissaka is stronger. And, I mean, he's on more money as well. But do we sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka? I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to have to make this decision before the episode goes out. So I can't really get you guys' opinion on it. 27 million. I think being older, perhaps we look to get rid of with Louis Coyle. But one of them will have to leave. There's not enough room for both. And I think we might keep Oliveira as sort of as a backup to the backup kind of thing, as a third choice fullback. As long as he's not complaining, he's not too bad. We're not paying him much either. But there we go. That is the big transfer done of the summer. Will there be anything else? There may well be. But I wanted to get a good right back in, and I think we've done that. And we've got a good left back in as well, let's be honest. So really, really happy. Okay, the European Championships which were taking place this summer in game have finished, and Erling Haaland was the player of the tournament. So well done to him. May that form continue into his Leeds United shirt this coming season. 5 appearances, 6 goals, 1 assist, a 7.96 average rating. Well done, Erling. Harry Kane was the Golden Boot winner. He had 7 games, 8 goals. We'll see who won in just a second. We might get a hint from this. Erling Haaland was the only Leeds player in the Dream Team. But looking at that, I'm going to say England probably did well. Let's have a look and see if we can have a look at the tournament here. And it was indeed won by England on a penalty shootout over Spain, the final. Let's have a quick look at the tournament as a whole, shall we, now that we've ruined the ending of it. We did have a few players involved in the tournament. Now, I wonder how many guys we had in the Spanish squad, actually, but you can kind of see there, Scotland got out of a group with Germany, England and Italy at the expense of France and Greece, and the bottom group here is Belgium, Croatia and Austria as well, with Russia going out. Second round, Norway got over the Czech Republic. You can see the other results there. England got the better. Oh, smashed Scotland. That would have gone down well or badly, depending on what part of the UK you're in, wouldn't it? Quarterfinals, Spain knocked out Norway. So Erling Haaland must have got a lot of goals early on then if he was knocked out in the quarterfinals. Portugal knocked out Belgium. Now we had Vervaeke in the Belgian squad. He did play in that game and did okay. England knocked out Italy. Germany knocked out Turkey in the quarterfinals. Semi-finals, Spain beat Portugal. England beat Germany. And then obviously we saw the final. Let's have a look and see if we did have anybody involved in that game in the Spanish side of things. No, it doesn't look like we did. I thought we had players in the Spanish squad. Doesn't look like there's anybody in the Spanish squad. On the England side of things, Calvin Phillips picked up an injury, which is why we don't necessarily see him. You can see there are players short on the bench. That was Calvin Phillips. But yeah, otherwise, even the new boy doesn't look like he got a run out in that one. But congratulations to England. They are the European champions. And congratulations to Erling Haaland. He is the player of the tournament. I'll actually have a quick look and see players that have won that award in the past. Insigne, Griezmann, Iniesta, Xavi, that guy, Zidane, and Matthias Sammer. So that's a good bunch of names to be amongst, isn't it? Okay, a little bit of breaking news here for you. Marley Phoenix, the French defender that we signed a few seasons ago now, is in our Europa League squad, sort of in the group stages last year. He has left the club. 8 million off to young boys in Switzerland, and potentially another 2 million up to 10 if he makes 50 appearances for them. A 30% sell-on percentage thing. I didn't really have an option to negotiate that. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. What are we signing for? Next to nothing. £41,000 we signed him for. He played 4 games for us. That's 3 games, sorry. That's not fair because he actually played 8. He played a lot in the Europa League last year and a cup game as well. We've sold him on for 8 million, potentially 10. Good bit of business that. But yeah, Marley Phoenix never quite going to make it with us. So hopefully he'll go on to a good career for his sake in Switzerland. Hi, Louis Coyle. Hey, mate. It's Aussie Villain. How you doing? Good, thanks, mate. Good. Now listen, this isn't an easy call for me to make. But you know how I spent a lot of money on a right back already this summer, and right back is famously your position. Well, we've received a bit of £27 million for you. Yeah, you're right, mate. That is definitely a lot of money. Nottingham Forest. Yep, I tell you what, you might see Robin Hood, you never know. Oh, look, I'm sorry, mate. You're going to have to speak to them about becoming the sheriff. I can't make that promise. So there we have it. Louis Coyle has left the club. £27 million. It's a really, really good fee for a 28-year-old right back. But Nottingham Forest have just been relegated. They're back down to the Championship, so they're obviously looking to build the comeback. And Louis Coyle, let's face it, he was a great player for us. He was away at Fleetwood on loan when we first came into the club. We brought him back in. And to be honest, he's been one of our better players season in, season out. But it's just, I think the time has just come. It was 230 odd games for Leeds, less the 42, 41. He was on Fleetwood a lot, wasn't he? So maybe we're looking at about 130 odd games for Leeds United, but a really, really good player for us. I have no bad things to say about him, other than the fact we've got a better, younger player in, and £27 million is a very, very good fee for Louis Coyle. And the transfer window has now closed. That brings us to the end of the special. It's a quiet window from us, but more or less I did what I wanted to do. We can see the big news here, or the big 3 signings. We have a midfielder going to Arsenal who looks quite good. Now, news on the Arsenal front, Pep Guardiola is their new manager. So with someone like this in their midfield, they could be a challenge this year. Jesus has gone from Chelsea to Real Madrid. And Liverpool has signed a Barcelona defender who looks still quite very decent there, doesn't he? Now, news on the Chelsea front. Guess who's joined them? Edouard. So I look forward to him coming back and haunting us in the upcoming season or 2 here. So there we go. He went off, spent 2 seasons in Russia, season and a bit in Russia, scored 10 goals, and Chelsea paid $36.5 million for him. So yeah, he doesn't scream a guy that's going to come back and score against us, but you just know that he will, don't you? Now, in terms of bids that we had for players, you can see here Everton came in for Wan-Bissaka, I think trying to replace the guy we nicked from them, $10.75 million. We were never going to sell him for that. The 2 other guys that kind of had bids coming in towards the end of the window. Pomgranic, Inter offered 56 million for him for our centre-back. For this guy, we rejected it. He's one of our better centre-backs. We were never going to really sell him, but he did have an offer come in for him. And Bogac was popular again. Now, Bogac was a very, very useful player for us last season, so I decided not to let him go. But the highest bid we got was from Spurs, 46.5 million for Bogac. But we've seen, even though last year, and I thought maybe we should have sold him, he still played 14 games in the league, 22 games and 4 off the bench overall, and did it very, very well, a 7.47 average. So I think at this point, he's almost just unsellable, because he can play deeper in midfield or the number 10. He does both roles quite well, so we didn't sell him. Now, one transfer that did happen, if we just get back here, we did end up loaning out a player, Luis, the young sort of wonder kid midfielder that we have, the Spanish midfielder. He's gone off to Burnley in the Premier League for a season, so we can kind of assess him in the Premier League. I think he could have played. He would have be coming off the bench for us though. So I figure get him out at Burnley, get him taking points off other teams in the Premier League, and then we'll get him back in and see what we want to do with him. So there we go. We bought 36.5 million in. We spent 60. Just the one signing in, as I said, a bit of a quiet one perhaps. We have been missing in pre-season at the Olympics. Onana, Moriba, Luis himself, Abel Ruiz, and Renier as well. So we've been missing them, which is a little bit of an annoying thing, but it just kind of is what it is. We'll get by without them. So this is the team that we have to start the season. Now, if we look at strikers, Erling Haaland obviously will be a star for us. Abel Ruiz, who's someone who will look to play as a striker, though he'll, again, like last year, probably more play in the 3 in behind the striker. Rafael Leao is a good option up top. Edmondson, I decided to keep him, and he's been scoring some goals in pre-season as well, which is good. I've been looking to use him in the same sort of role as Erling Haaland, sort of as an attacking target man, and that's been working for him. And back from loan, Mirko Lapari. He's going to sort of fill in as the 4th, 5th striking option. He was out on loan last season. He did okay out in La Liga 2, 15 goals in 40. So I think he'll do a decent job as sort of maybe just sort of the cup striker, that sort of a thing. So that is him. If we look in wide areas on the left, Vervaeke. Now, Vervaeke is currently unhappy, you'll see down here, because he wants a new contract. I did offer him a new contract. He wanted £150 a week, £150,000 a week. I tried to get him down to 110, and we kind of the negotiations broke off. So we'll offer him a new contract and make sure that he's happy, hopefully by the time the season starts. Jared Bowen, we saw that he signed a new deal. He can play left or right. Abel Ruiz, we've already seen, can play left or right or in behind. Leao can play out here, and Under is the other guy that can play out on this side. On the right side, the same guy as the other 2 options. David Baker, the youngster, came through the academy. What a season he had for us last year. Hopefully he can continue to grow. And also in the first team squad this season, another youngster that came through the academy, Asen Ndao. You can see they're potentially a 5-star player. We'll try and get him in some game time, getting up and down this right side. It says he's a striker. He's got finishing of 7. He is not a striker. He is very definitely a winger. So we'll see how he gets on from there. In the number 10 role, obviously Renier back from injury because he missed the end of last season. He will be a key player for us in that role. We also have Bogac, who we've just seen. He can play in there, as can Carlos Alina. Another really good player. Again, just signed a new contract this summer. Ilax Mariba can play in there as well. Though typically we'll use him in a deeper role. And also Abel Ruiz, as I've already said, can play in that role for us. Deeper in midfield, we've just seen Alina and Mariba. We know they can play a role there for us. Academy graduates, Alfie McCalmont will do a good job for us back in this role in midfield, as will Calvin Phillips. And the Academy graduates just keep on rolling out. Gary Turpie, we know can do a good job for us playing in this sort of role in midfield. Noah Kene, still a star in the making, does a good job for us. Bogac, we've seen, of course, an academy kid. And Stephen Daly, we've called him up from the under-23s. We'll see how he goes in the first team squad. His personality is fickle. Hopefully, with a little bit of mentoring, we can get rid of that trait for him. A number of these guys can play in the DM role if we need them to, but typically I think we've moved past that. We saw towards the end of last year that we generally don't play too well with a DM. We just moved past it. Center of defense. Well, obviously Pomgranic is the star of the team in that position. Typically, it's going to be Nathan Wood that plays that with him. Potentially still room to improve there, though. At 22, I don't know if we're ever going to see that improvement. Johnny Souter, who signed a new contract in the summer, a good squad player for us. And Max Dean is a potential world star as well. he will see a lot of football this season at centre-back. Other options, we do have Charles O'Brien, although I think I'm going to look to loan him out. He is listed for loan right now, so I think probably championship level. Can we see what sort of clubs are interested in him there? Please, game. No, it's not going. It's going to be a pain in the backside. Bristol City, Bristol City, Portsmouth, Sheffield United, Swansea. Yeah, so they're sort of championship level clubs. So we'll try and get him out on loan, I think. We do still have some decent depth though, because Kenake, again, I think centre-back could be somewhere we look to use him. He's definitely got the ability to play there. Young French defender that we signed, I think he could probably play a role really strong in the air. And we do have some other youngsters coming through as well that can fill in if we were to get an injury crisis at centre-back. Down the left-hand side, Brad Darrich will be one of the main guys, as will Zagre. They've both been just solid as rocks for us back there, so they're solid. And it's obviously the new boy, Jamie Mahoney, can play there, but we'll be looking to play him on the right, and he'll share that duty with Aradwan Basaka. So I think we're well served on the right. Obviously, Souter, we know, can play over here and play over here quite well. And we also have Juan Ferrero Oliveira, who we've never seen play, but in theory, he can play well over there. Though the one time we did see him play, he launched two-footed into a Lazio midfielder in the Champions League. So hopefully we won't see too much more of that. And of course, the new boy Mahoney there, as we've seen. Goalkeeper, Onana's number one, undisputed number one. Tom Williams Askey is the backup, and a good job he does there as well. And we haven't seen Ovi El Jahiri. He'll do a job as the third choice centre-back, third goalkeeper. He did sign a new contract as well to stay on for another 4 years, £1,800 a week. It's fine. For someone that's a solid enough third choice goalkeeper, that all looks good to me. So that is it for the transfer special. Let me know what you think, guys. As I said, I wasn't expecting it to be a busy transfer window. We went big on one player, and I think we've done quite well there. I think this team could do quite well. I think with the young players getting a season better, I think we could definitely look to challenge Liverpool in the Premier League this season. And Champions League, we're supposed to reach the first knockout round. Well, it depends on the group, but I'd like to think we could do that. But we'll be back next time, guys. What we'll do is we'll start the Premier League season against newly promoted Derby County. That will be our first game in the Premier League. You can see it there. And then we also got the UEFA Super Cup. So I think we'll try and do both games next episode. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know how you think we'll do in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Take care.